Fratelli e sorelle, buonasera.
Pope Francis has died at the age of 88, the Vatican announced on Easter Monday. Bells tolled in church towers across Rome after the announcement, which was read out by Cardinal Kevin Farrell, the Vatican Camerlengo, from the chapel of the Domus Santa Marta, where Francis lived. The Pope had suffered from a respiratory crisis that developed into double pneumonia, for which he was hospitalized for 5 weeks. He emerged on Easter Sunday to bless thousands of people in St. Peter's Square and surprise them with a Pope-mobile ride through the piazza. The Argentine-born Jorge Mario Bergoglio was the first Latin American pontiff in history and charmed the world with his humble style and embrace of refugees and the poor. He signaled a very different tone for the papacy, stressing humility over hubris, adding women to decision-making roles in the church, and welcoming the LGBTQ+ community.
At 7:30 p.m. local time, Cardinal Gambetti led the Rosary Prayer to pray for the passing of Pope Francis. It was attended by cardinals and the hundreds of faithful who had gathered here throughout the day. Cardinal Gambetti said, quote, "We all carry in our hearts the words that Pope Francis so often said to us, do not forget to pray for me." The atmosphere here was one of grief and mourning. The prayer ended with a long round of applause with people chanting, "Long live Pope Francis." And at around 8 p.m. local time, the Vatican confirmed the Pope's cause of death, saying that Pope Francis died of a stroke and heart failure. Giorgio Orlandi for Euronews in the Vatican.
Tributes have continued to pour in from around the world over the death of Pope Francis. The Vatican announced the death of Francis on Monday at the age of 88, a day after appearing at St. Peter's Square to bless the faithful and Christians around the world for Easter. Italy's President Sergio Mattarella paid tributes to Francis, saying the pontiff was always a man of hope.
Accanto al dolore per la morte di Papa Francesco, avverto, come ho detto stamani, un senso di vuoto.
In Spain, the government described Francis as a transformative pope whose legacy will last forever.
Quiero mostrar en nombre del presidente y del gobierno de España nuestro dolor y nuestro más profundo pésame por el fallecimiento del Papa Francisco.
Australia's Prime Minister said the Pope's compassion embraced all of humanity.
Today, the prayers of more than 1 billion people from all nations and every walk of life go with Pope Francis to his rest.
The Trump administration also paid tributes to Pope Francis. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, the last known international leader to visit Francis, said in a tweet the Pope would be best remembered for his message during COVID, while India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Francis ignited hope for the poor and those suffering. Pope Francis died at the age of 88 on Monday after a long battle with double pneumonia.
The death of a pope sets in motion a series of carefully orchestrated rites and rituals surrounding the pontiff's burial and electing a successor, a process known as the conclave. Following the pope's death, a 9-day mourning period follows. During this period, the College of Cardinals assembles in the Vatican, where they will be locked in the Sistine Chapel around 15 days after the Pope's death, bound by secrecy as they elect a new Pope. Immediately after an initial Mass, the Cardinals cast their first ballots. If no Pope is elected, the ballots are burned and the process is repeated 4 times a day until one candidate receives a 2/3 majority. Black smoke signals an inconclusive vote. White smoke announces to the world that a new pope has been chosen.
Habemus Papam.
The new pope then emerges and gives his first blessing.
Fratelli e sorelle, buonasera.